guys, it's Cara again, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing to the Tomorrow People Season 1, Episode 5, All Tomorrow's Parties. I think by far this was the best episode we've had. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff that happened in this episode. We really got to see how brutal this war was, and we had some other very interesting stuff, so let's just get into it. The episode begins with Steven and his ultra partner, Darcy. They're chasing down a suspect, and Steven disobeys orders and goes after the suspect. And it turns out that to be an ultra exercise, and it's revealed that Steven has difficulty taking down girls since he's a gentleman and all. I thought that was kind of funny, because at first I'm like, whoa, we're just starting out an intense scene already? Okay, this is going to be crazy. But no, it was just a simulation thing. I thought that was kind of funny the way that worked. But then Jedediah gives Steven some uncle advice when he is told to bring him in by his boss. Meanwhile, Steven meets up with Astrid, and the reunion is awkward to say the least. She calls him out on lying, and he sweetly asks her to dance. You know, she's still on to him about the whole thing that happened in that last episode. They haven't talked for a week and everything. But I really like their scenes together, and I thought it was a cute scene. But also, the other person is Cara. He enlists Robbie to watch as a Homo superior is injected with the power of reversing serum. Apparently he used teleportation to spring Merge from jail, and the Tomorrow People introduces viewers to the group's resident genius who explains that she can make an antidote against the serum with Steven's help. John has a confrontation with newly recruited Kurt, who went back home to see his mother, and John says it's not safe for them to go outside. Basically, I'm just going to say that everything we've seen in these last 3 episodes, 2, 3, and 4, all connected in this episode. Everything we saw finally just connected. And apparently John and Cara believe there is a refuge for the Tomorrow People outside and that Steven's father is looking for it and is still alive. Cara privately tells John that she wants to live and that they should experience life outside their hideout. John disagrees and points to Steven's influences as the reason why she's suggesting. Meanwhile, Steven assists Darcy as she injects the serum and steals it as a result. Jedediah tells Steven that he has taken him to Ultra's headquarters, for which Steven is visibly surprised. Russell provides some visible comedy, describing his exploits, including a bachelorette party, while Cara and John for the right of deciding whether or not they go to the party. This provides more shirtless scenes of John and all win. John and Steven fight over that's what it says. I'm just reading off of something so I don't forget anything. Yeah. John and Steven fight over Steven's influence on the Tomorrow People and John's leadership abilities. Cara and John jaunt or fight over a stick using their powers, and Cara wins. John looks none too pleased at this result. There's more to this though, because Steven is dragged along dress shopping with Astrid. The ultimate sign of their friendship is mending. She does not take his excuses as he compliments her on her ultimate choice. Russell informs the Tomorrow People of the rules to crashing in parties, with the most important one being don't get caught. I thought that whole scene was really funny. I enjoyed that part. Steven has a bag over his head as he has tried to meet Jedediah's partners. Jedediah abandons Steven to a stately mansion where he does not meet the boss, but rather hears him in his head, marking him as one of the Tomorrow People. Steven's powers are tested as a boss probes for answers. John refuses to go, and he's mad that Cara and him are disagreeing over this important issue. She tries to make him go and see if they're a truly normal couple above ground. He refuses to go, and it's clear that he'll change his mind. Steven compliments Cara on her dress and warns her that Ultra perhaps got into his head and knows that the Tomorrow People are going topside tonight. He slips up and shares that he's worried for her, and she gives him a pocket square. So now we have this it looks like they're setting this love triangle between John, Steven, and Cara. I think that's pretty much what's happening here because, you know, John and Cara are together, but Steven and Cara do have a lot of chemistry. We saw that in this episode. They could also be saying one between Cara, Steven, and Astrid. I could see that too, because Steven and Astrid also have a lot of chemistry, and I think that's pretty cool. So then as Cara looks around forlornly at the dance floor, John shows up to blow her away. When asked why he won't let her use telepathy on him, he uses their couple status as a cover. Jedediah whisks Steven away, leaving Astrid behind to meet him at the dance. She sees him leave and hails a taxi to follow him. Looks like she'll discover his secret before he's ready. Jedediah lets Steven know that his colleague is still suspicious and that he has to prove his fidelity. It appears that Ultra knows about the Tomorrow People's plans and has cleared all civilians. Apparently, Cara cannot hear any of the Tomorrow People and vice versa. John figures out it is an ambush as Jedediah and Steven look on. Astrid goes to investigate, but Darcy quickly turns around. The Ultra agents fire upon the Tomorrow People as they try to take cover, and Steven breaks off from Jedediah. Steven uses powers to blow the fuse and gives the Tomorrow People a chance to fight back and escape. Irene, the genius girl viewers met earlier, has a gunshot wound, and Jedediah shoots after John as he escapes. This was a pretty big scene here. I mean, that whole scene where she was just bleeding, it was crazy. John kills an Ultra agent to protect Cara and Irene, revealing that he has a special capability to kill, unlike his friends, which we found out in last week's episode where we found out he was a killer. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I missed them kind of having the backstories. I liked how they did that in the past 2 episodes, so they didn't do that in this one. But John refused to take Irene to the hospital as they would entail bringing protocol. 3 died in the raid as Steven brings her to the hospital and challenges John. And Cara feels guilty as she suggested that they go to the party. And then we get a pretty big scene between Cara and John. Cara confronts John over his ability to kill, and he admits that he's a killer. She deduces that he was a member of the Annex Project, along with Killian McCrane. He wanted this part of him to be buried, but she's upset that he kept the secret from her. Looks like there's troubles in paradise. So she's very upset that he kept this secret from her. And I mean, he should have told her. I mean, he could have just told her, you know, I was a killer before. I don't want to do it anymore, but I was a killer before. It's not easy to tell, but he should have at least been honest with her. She is his girlfriend after all. So if the relationship's going to work, I mean, he should have told her. But I really like that scene. I thought the girl who played Cara did a really great performance. Who's the girl who plays Cara? Let me look that up. I think her name's Peyton List. Yeah, Peyton List, that's her name. She did a really good job in this episode. I thought she had a really good performance in a lot of the scenes. And I just really like her character. I like where they're going with her character, and she had some really great scenes, definitely. So after this, Steven drops Irene off to the ER and is confident of her chances. Cara looks into all of their minds in order to discover who ratted them out, as Steven confesses to John that it may have been him, while Cara looks down into Steven's brain. Kurt confesses that he told Ultras they caught him visiting his mom. Apparently, he thought that they would only kill John. Cara stands in front of John as she uses her powers to use a serum on Kurt. She continues to threaten Kurt as she lets him go without his powers, and there are a lot of gray areas on this show. And then we get the biggest scene of all with Astrid and Steven. So basically, Astrid confronts Steven as he comes back home with blood on his shirt. She says, hey, why is there blood on your shirt? And she admits that she follows him and he tells her not to, without revealing what he's gotten into. He does not tell her, but admits that he feels vulnerable after what he saw that evening. She tries to get him to open up. She says she's invested his life, and then the episode ends with Steven telling her to trust him as he teleports them back to where they met, and that's how it ends. He says, can you remember a time when we met? And she says, yes, of course I remember the time we met. And she gives this look that's one of wonder. So now, Cara, I mean, I don't really know if Astrid completely knows their secret, but she does know more than she should know. I mean, it's way over her head what she thinks it is. She probably just thinks, oh, it's like a yang or something like that. You know, she was trying to do research. She even said she would do research, but she never did. So I don't know where that went. But I will say that I really enjoyed this episode. I thought everything tied together well in this episode. Everything from the past 3 episodes really tied together in this episode. Also, Cara and John, what do you think's going on with them? I do think they're setting up 2 love triangles here. One between Cara, Steven, and John, and then one between Cara, Astrid, and Steven. I do see them doing that. Also, what do you think of the whole John revealing to Cara he's a killer? Do you think he should have revealed to her earlier? What do you think of that? Do you think they're in danger? What do you think's going on there? Also, I thought there were some really great performances in this scene. And also, do you think Astrid knows that Steven's part of the Tomorrow People? But what do you guys think? That's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be my review for Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. So see you then. Bye.